Hello everyone, today I'm going to be going over the four most recent biggest characters in my opinion. This is going to be in the order of release date. I'm going to be going over their stats and the reasons for why I think Netmarble have made them how they are, whether that be by stats or CC or just their general thought and future proofing of that character. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to look at Escanor. He released, I want to say November time last year. He's a good overall character and has the highest CC in the game to this day, which is kind of insane, as he is now, he's the third festival, if you were to talk about festivals-wise, he's the third one down since recent. Outfits-wise, these are the ones we've been given for free. Not many. But I want to look at his stats. And I think I have a reason for why his stats are so high on certain areas and lower in others. Of course, his passive does give him 20% all stats, but that only lasts for one turn. When it's 20%, then he loses all those 20% and it goes back down to these original stats here, which means you've got 5 turns to deal damage, then it disappears. Sort of like it's a very fair passive in my opinion. Mainly that you can't have, if those stats were permanent 20% stats, he would be even more of a monster than he currently is. But I think the reason why he has such high pierce rate, he has such high crit chance, crit damage, and decent defense-related stats with these two, I mean, pierce resistance is actually very low, is because day one, he did not release with a full human team. What I mean by this is Estarossa had very good stats. He did have a full demon team on release, but it was not the newest team. The characters were so old, so they gave him really good stats. So he could outperform them and show really good damage on the demon team and show that there's potential on the demon team. Humans have never really had that, but Reinhardt and Barn, those were the two characters that released with a team at day one that made them immediately broken. Escanor did not have that. He did not have a full human team waiting for him. You can't say you were going to use him with Arthur. You could use him with Arthur. You could have, but most people were using him with a Sins team with Diane and Bloody Ellie. And with, of course, Ragbarn and back for the attack-related stat increase. He didn't release with a full human team. And to be honest, there's not been a real good full human team for him. Mainly because, you get a taunt unit, you then run Festival Gotha, which is the team I used to use, which is Festival Gotha, Queen Diane, and the Ultimate One, with Ragbarn in back. It's the Sins team, and in my opinion, it's probably the best team for Escanor, because you give yourself so much more attack-related stats and HP, that you can just melt anyone. He did not have a full human team. He didn't have when Barn released, he immediately had Arthur, and when Reinhardt released, he already had Arthur, Twigo, and Barn. Because in theory, Barn became a support to Reinhardt. The most broken DPS in the game became a support for him because of how broken he was, and now he's become horrible because of stat inflation. As we can see here, all characters that we're using in this video will have attack crit down gear, and all are either very good pieces of gear or perfect gear, or nearly perfect gear. Escanor has nearly perfect gear, his defense pieces are a little bit low. I mean, that is like a 14.4, so that's any difference. Onto the second character, which is Melly. Melly, day one, released with a full demon team. We're talking Chandler, we're talking with both Chandlers, we're talking Cusack, the newest one, Zeldris, the newest one, and then if you want to run Ragbarn back, or you had Estarossa, the brand new Estarossa, who gives you darkness, and he gives himself 50% attack-related stats. Yes, his crit chance may be lower, but his passive will then mean that in the end, he will have more crit chance than Escanor. He also gives himself 20% damage reduction. This guy was designed for PvP. There was no PvE in mind with this character. One turn, you get one singular card to deal damage, then disappears. In Demonic Beast, that's not good. What I also mean by that as well is that Traitor Melee, well, you got all the damage reduction. You got 40% damage reduction. Yes, it takes you 5 turns to build it up, but it's not that bad. 40% damage reduction for any race, or 20% damage reduction for demons, when the majority of Demonic Beast characters are non-demons. The only real demons are melees. No other ones, apart from Cusack back in the day on the Bird team, but now it's just mainly unknowns, humans, and melees. His stats are good. Lifesteal's good for a demon. That's normal, having 18%. Of course, Escanor had very low lifesteal, but his passive gave him more. And for future-proofing for this guy, I think that he was made to be broken to a point where later on he would get nerfed to oblivion, but still be usable. What I mean by that is that yes, let me just skip quite far ahead. We're going to go to Mael. Mael, brand new, right? Can't have any stats lowered. In theory, you could say it is related to Escanor. Escanor has Sunshine. Mael is the literal person of Sunshine. So it makes sense. That his passive makes sense. But what I don't think makes sense, I'll save that for when we get to Mael. I'll save that. He is on the list. He's the final one. We'll get onto it then. I have a lot to talk about Mael. They could have made him like Melee and Escanor combined level, and he would have been insane. But I think they were just too scared. His stats are good. He has not the second highest. I think he's like the third or fourth highest in the game. Pretty sure it's fourth because number 2 is very recent. But yeah, he's a decent character. He has decent future proofing to the point where he's got these buffers. They can add Demon King's Eldris. Boom, you've got new Eldris, and he could be a DPS. Melee has damage reduction. Melee can turn himself into a DPS with HP defense because he gives himself 50% attack related stats. That's a lot. Especially with, you could use Estarossa, first of all Estarossa, as a literal support character for Darkness. Then boom, you have that. And later on, when Goddesses move out, because eventually stat inflation will get too high or there'll be a passive, that'll make them even more broken. Because that's what happens now. Characters have like mediocre stats, but their passives make what make them completely broken. For example, Mael would not be broken if it wasn't for his passive. Escanor, he would still be decently broken because of his cards, but if he did not have Final Flame on his ultimate, which is an ultimate which in my opinion should be part of his passive, he would have also be broken. But onto the next character. I've only got 4 characters. Freya. So when Freya was first made, everyone was like, oh, she's she's this, she's that, she's a DPS for PvP. They're bringing Ragnarok back to PvP, which Red Brynhild was back in the day when stat low was a thing, and demons weren't a thing because demons already cucked her. And then, I saw her as a very good character for dogs because she was very good for dogs. The ability to deal stupid amounts of single target damage, as well as the dogs team at the time was pretty much all Ragnarok characters. So she got her passive, the 28% increased attack-related stats and the increased pierce rate. Actually, no, she wouldn't really get much pierce rate because you can't really debuff the dogs, but still, she'd get decent stats from it. Her ultimate being Abyss with the wave effect means that she was good at taking out like single target enemies, and I think that this ultimate was future-proof. She was designed already knowing that they were going to release the Demonic Beast and she was going to be the next character, because she immediately then the month later dropped with a relic. And this relic was for that Demonic Beast. And because of that relic, she's the second highest CC character in the game. She out-CCs Mael and Purgatory Mill. This character here out-CCs both of those festivals. It's time to move on to her stats. So her stats are very good. For she has more crit defense than Melee, which is very good. Her stats are very good for a non-festival character that was designed for a Demonic Beast. But is that because the Demonic Beasts are getting so hard to a point where the Ragnarok characters literally have to be festival characters but exclusive to those Demonic Beasts? Yeah, that's what it is. That's what is happening. They're making these activities so hard to the point where the characters they make for Ragnarok and for these Demonic Beasts have to be as broken as festivals in that sort of way. For example, Yorn, her passive gives you 30% all stats or 60% all stats. That's a lot of stats. 30% lifesteal. Imagine having 60% lifesteal. It's like having Malascula. Everyone has Malascula's lifesteal everywhere. That's broken. Not even the Demonic Beast can lower Demonic Beast lower all your HP related stats, not including your actual or HP related substats, by 40%, which is a lot. But yeah, she is, in my opinion, very future-proofed in terms of her relic. Her relic is what makes her really future-proof. It's literally built for goddesses. Guess who released afterwards? Mael, which was completely broken for this Demonic Beast. I'm pretty sure they both released at the same time. Mael and her relic dropped at the same time, which is insane. Her ability to remove stances with her single target cards at any level, it's insane. And the fact that she can increase her own stats and everybody's stats, or their all stats as well, it's insane. They think these characters they release are fair. Also, she does get a hell of a lot of stats. I did work out, if I was to buy all of her weapons and get her relic, plus I have 15% on her gear, she'd get 1.6k attack, which is honestly insane. 1.6k attack would get me, she'd be my highest attack character in my entire box. which is kind of stupid. Oh. My next character is Mael. I have a lot to say about Mael, mainly to do with his passive. His Grace, completely fine, increases his damage down by 20%. You know, cool. You know, you whatever. Stats, he's good. He's got very good pierce rate for a non-pierce character. Good crit chance, good crit damage, for especially he's a crit damage based character. Same as Escanor. Escanor and Mael are both crit-based characters, where if they don't crit, they hit for much lower than if they do crit. Decent resistance, decent lifesteal, but my main problem with him is the fact that immune to stat decrease in PvP. This bit, immune to stat decrease, very nice, in PvP. Now, if I was to look at the Ultimate 1, I was to see he's immune to stat decrease at all. What they could have done, which I think would have been the better idea, is to make it so your own stats cannot be decreased. Like, okay, so keep this bit. In PvP, right, cool. But then if it's not in PvP, it's just his basic stats. So the stats he normally would have at the start could not be lowered. Like what Escanor has. But just make it so in PvP, his added stats cannot be lowered. That would then make him so much better in Demonic Beast. Because currently in Demonic Beast, you know, Escanor's better. Because it doesn't make sense. If this guy is the better version of Escanor, which is what he is, this is Escanor at full sun, pretty much. Why is his passive worse? Why can't he be immune to a stat lower in, you know, versing a giant bird, or versing a giant snake, or a deer, or 2 dogs? But Escanor can. Doesn't make sense. And the fact that he did release with a full team, which is very future-proof. I guess his team isn't the best, but it's okay. I'm not going to lie, it's okay. They have no back support character. I'm not counting Ludo as a back support character. Yes, he's 7% attack-related stats, cool bro, whatever. Barn does not care what race you are and gives you more. You know, you can't tell me that Ludo could not crit to save his life. He is a Pierce card, and I believe that he was designed with the intent to eventually, in the future, be put into the Demonic Beast team. Because that's what goddesses are now. Every goddess we will get now, I'm pretty sure, will just be characters to feed to the Demonic Beasts, or to be PvP characters, or support characters in PvP. That's what it'll be. Because, you know, they can't make a Margaret. Oh, sorry, they can't make a Ludo. Because we've got Margaret. They could do a Sariel. You know, he does have a counter, and he does increase crit damage, which Mael does like. But, you know, it's not like it's... removing Sariel will probably be the best bet. You know, you've got, like... I'm not going to say Bloody Ellie's the worst. You know, the basic stat increase is good, and if you give her a Tommy or Link, I want to kill myself sometimes. But, you know, not a bad character. You know, she does cause me much emotional damage, bro. She is the character I hate the most. In this game, she is the character I hate the most. The amount of lifesteal she has, and the fact that she can trigger a revive that can be a Grey revive. Actually, no, don't even get me started about Grey stuff. So we're going to go on to his ultimate, right? Oh yeah, you know, 1, that's fine. 2, yeah, that's fine. You know, 2 still. Yeah, then at 3, it becomes a Grey debuff. So that's pretty much saying, let's say you're playing the new Demonic Beast, and you're like, oh yeah, Mael's so good with this Demonic Beast. Yeah, only at 6/6, because if not, you can't apply the debuff. Because Grey debuffs do not count as debuffs, they're like an effect sort of thing. Which is kind of irritating. Because, well, now what are you going to do? You know, you're telling me you just literally want people to 6/6 characters. It's getting to a point where I think the difference between a 1/6 and a 6/6 character is going to be like completely out the window. Like back in the day, right? A 1/6, who's a really good 1/6 character? The 1 Escanor. Not the Ultimate 1, the 1 Escanor. When he was 1/6, right, he could still one-shot one character, guaranteed. Of course, if they didn't have a Lich Shield. But he could still one-shot one character, guaranteed. Nowadays, 3/6 Margaret can't even one-shot a character. My 3/6 Margaret, when she crits on a Sever Ultimate with her buffs, the full Goddess team cannot kill someone. Can literally not kill someone. That's how bad it's got. Even 6/6 Margarets struggle to kill people because of how broken like this stat increase meta has become. Insane. And I just think, yes, he's a very future-proof character, and I believe that these 4 characters I've shown should have been the 4 characters that people have been summoning on since November. So you got November, December, January, February, March. 6. The past 6 months. Is it 6 months? 5 months, sorry. These are the characters you should have been summoning. Yes, you could say that the total, if you were to summon every character, have to do a full rotation of every character just to get one copy, it would cost you a lot. It would cost you 3,300 diamonds. Or around 33 weeks worth of saving, which we've gotten in the past 20 weeks. But that's not too bad. We were given 300 for free. Every festival isn't actually 900 diamonds, it's 870 because you get one free summon. But these are the characters people should have been summoning on because, yes, okay, at first, Freya was not the best character. I'll be honest. On release, she was, like, mediocre. She was a good character, but she needed a little bit extra work with a relic. And then they dropped her relic, and now she's like a must character. If you do not have her, well, you can't do well, you can do the demonic beast, but it's so much harder. You know? And the fact that her relic gives her so much stats to make her the second highest CC character in the game, that's a lot of attack. 450 attack is a lot of attack. And that defense is very good as well. That's like half of what Nalfmi got, and he's a defense-based character. And then, of course, HP, that's a very large amount of HP. But I do think in the future, I do think they think very far ahead. For example, this new Magelda, when I do my videos on her later on tomorrow, or tomorrow and the day after, there'll be 2 videos. Of course, there'll be the patch notes video and then the banner review video. I'll fully go into details on my thoughts on her, and pretty much the only way to save her and what they did wrong and all that kind of stuff. But I do think that going ahead, I think they think too far ahead for characters. I feel like they should stop making characters bad day one and then make them broken later. For example, let's talk about the original Magelda. Not this new crappy one that's out, the original Magelda. She was released, she was horrible. Right, she got given a relic, she was broken. That's how they broke her. But what I think they should do is release characters like Jormungandr. Jormungandr released immediately broken. Gave her relic even more broken. That's what we need for demonic beasts. We don't need to be having to spend like 2,400 diamonds for a whole Ragnarok team, you know, to just to be able to complete it. I just want one character that costs me 600, then I can stick the most recent festival characters on the team and mow through it like it's nothing, just so I can get these relics. But the relics aren't even, some of the relics aren't even that good. You're telling me to save up, like, currently I can only do floor 1, so 15 weeks worth of saving just to get, to get Fraudrin's relic, to increase his CC. That's definitely what he would want. Yes, for green Fraudrin, but blue Fraudrin doesn't want that. He wants he wants lower stats. He doesn't need all these stats. It's just frustrating, man. Sometimes they do think really, like, far, sometimes they do think, like, this character, oh yes, these 2 things will, like, make people summon. These will make people summon, right? Well, they did. I summoned, but mainly because she was a good character for dogs, and I literally needed to farm dogs. I had, like, no relics at the time. And I saw Dorachan's video, of course, he is the biggest whale in the bloody world. That's a joke. I don't think he's the biggest whale, but he is a very big whale. I saw him doing it. I thought, oh, she's really good. I told all my mates to summon. Some of my mates are unfortunate and didn't get her. Some mates did. But it's like, Ragnarok characters are either straight away PvP, and you can immediately tell, because their passive will be like, oh, PvP only. For example, Red Brynhild. Or, they have the ability to be a PvE character later on down the line. And yes, this Freya could become a PvP character down the line. Just because she has a PvE only relic doesn't mean that later on, she can't, if her stats are high enough, she can deal a lot of damage. When she crits, trust me. I've seen her hit way harder than the Ultimate One. Way harder. With a level 1 card, I would take her any day over the Ultimate One. Yeah, she was definitely designed. Either she was designed especially for the Demonic Beast, because the fact that pierce cards do 2% on the latest Demonic Beast, or the Demonic Beast, that pierce rate effect was thought later on just to fit her, which could have been a possibility. But I doubt it. But anyway, that's it to this video. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye bye.